Hey, what's going on, guys? So I've recently went out venturing and did some building, a lot of building, night shooting, and I want to try and get a Nadder, so I made that one. I did find these 3 eggs. They were just in a cave somewhere. Yeah. I got a note. I found this notebook in a mine and stuff. I decided to restart my banners, and I chose a name.
I asked if he had a receipt, and he said,
I don't know why do I have 2?
sometime last year in
Well, that's fair.
It's out of the 45 days, so I can't do anything with it. Cue the customer asking what he should do. I say, buy a new pair of shoes. I can't do anything about those. The man looks livid, and I can tell he thinks that his next line should work on. Do I need to get a lawyer for a pair of shoes? And I shrug. I mean, if you want to, but I'm not returning or exchanging notes. Have a good one. I hate this place. Okay, well at least nobody screamed at anyone or physically attacked a bystander in this story. We'll call it a win.
Wait for nighttime. Let's see. Any
food. And then once they call in the manager, what kind of adult is ever going to take this threat seriously? I mean, sure, go ahead, customer, pay hundreds in initial fees, only to be told that you have no leg to stand on. Doesn't affect us in the slightest, to be honest. So, isn't the inner monologue of all staff and major distributors ever just like, I don't care if
he deserves.
I work for.
Oh wait,
I mean, you've got to
I like how I can see my body. Feels weird.
I kept getting written up so I cut all of my hair off. When I was in the fire academy, the women's
still nothing with that bow.
Had to be worn
I couldn't find anyone.
I had a layered, shoulder-length hair, so it was difficult to keep it neat
Mama,
all day long.
I found out.
The shorter pieces would stick out or fall out around my face, and my bangs weren't long enough to
it's still safe. Her eggs are still in hatch. I've been hearing like roaring over on that side of the island, so I'm gonna check on that later.
But there was one instructor who said there was no
I just need to get this.
We're a paramilitary type of school, so dress code is extremely important. She acknowledged that it wasn't a safety issue, but told me I had to follow it anyway, and that doing my best just wasn't good enough. She wrote me up 3 times and then called me in for a meeting to inform me that another write-up for the same issue would get me expelled from the program. I looked into the dress code and saw that the men's hair code was much more lenient. It just said that hair must not touch the collar of the shirt or the tops of the ears. So the night after that meeting, I went to the hair place and told the stylist to do whatever she wanted to my hair as long as it fit those requirements. She was stoked and gave me a really cute pixie cut. The next day, the same instructor tried to write me up, but since I was technically in dress code,
I did this.
The next semester, there was a man with long hair who wore it in a bun instead of cutting it. And the following semester, the dress code was rewritten to be gender neutral. Hey, eventual success after your time there. I hope you were able to appreciate it even if you couldn't benefit from reason at the time. Seems like that drill instructor was a jerk in this particular story, right? If every other authority figure in a given place says it was fine, then you really just have to be the most insufferable jerk to decide that an inconsequential dress code matters more than someone's ability to do their job. And if this was all sealed inside of a fireman's helmet, then it was no more of a risk than any other sort of hair. And if it was a darn pixie cut, any risk at all was completely removed. Maybe this drill instructor should find another outlet for her massive frustration with the state of her life. Am I the jerk for getting the money back that my husband took from our IVF treatment and gave to his friend? To start off, I want to say that my husband, a 36-year-old guy, has an old friend known since high school. They're inseparable.
Midnight.
Spend the entire week together.
Good boy. There's fish.
My husband and I struggled with fertility issues for years.
Yeah.
We recently started trying out IVF in hopes to get at least one child together. Note that I saved for the majority of the treatment, while my husband paid only $2,000 to $3,000. We saved up for another round after the huge disappointment and heartache from failing the first time. That's just how it goes. This time I've put in all of the money from my dad's inheritance, and my
So,
husband didn't pay a cent.
here's the
Last
mama
week I found out
and her
he'd
eggs.
secretly
I
been
still want to know
selling
about that
land.
boat.
We had 11 acres total, and I was completely and utterly
What
shocked.
the hell?
I confronted him and he casually reminded me
That's some
of
good
how many
shit.
times his best friend complained about his old
Wait.
junk car,
What's
and
that?
he had decided to lend him 7 grand to buy a decent one.
Fire
His
around
argument
it.
was that his friend would have
Come
done
on,
the same for him. I was beyond livid.
Midnight,
I asked if he really thought
Midnight,
it
what
was
are you
okay,
doing?
and he said
Midnight,
I shouldn't worry
Midnight,
and guaranteed
what are you
his
doing? What are
friend
you
would
doing?
pay us back in time. I lost it on him and immediately demanded his friend send the money back and threatened police involvement in case he refused. His friend immediately returned all the money, but told my husband about the police thing, and my husband came home and yelled at me,
They look
calling me
similar to the
unhinged and
mamas.
selfish. I told him I saved up some of the money and used my
Midnight, I'm
inheritance
gonna
for
get
this
off.
treatment, while he contributed nothing, even though we're in this together. He corrected me, saying that I knew the
Hi.
problem, and he thought it was only fair that I make up for it by paying for the IVF myself. This hurt so badly, and I couldn't argue anymore. He went to stay with his friend while constantly shaming me for how I treated them both, and for the police involvement, like they stole from me or something. God, his last statement is such an awful thing to say to a partner who clearly wants to be a mother. I think the husband is
There should be
definitely
a
the jerk
four.
here. Also, his argument doesn't even make sense. He pulled out almost entirely her money to pay for his buddy to get a new car.
There's
So
3
she
more
has to pay for the
areas.
treatment
So,
and foot the bill for
you're
Johnny
missing
and
3
Amy to get
eggs.
a new set of wheels.
Come on, bud.
Where the heck is the
Sit
fairness
back.
here, husband?
But,
Your husband
why?
stole from you,
Stop
Sarah,
doing this,
unless there are some
please.
truth apologies and behavior reversals from you. I don't think
Why
you
do you
should
keep
try
doing
and
this,
get
Midnight?
that guy. I
That's
know
too
you're
small
both
of a
in a
gap.
very rough place, but this wouldn't
Dude.
help. When you subscribe, make sure to hit
God's
the
sake,
bell
you're not
to
giving me
turn on
choice and say.
notifications. Put the playlist on in the background
Okay,
to
I'll
finish
go check
listening
on
to
them.
all the stories. Or if you want to
We
check
have
out
a
some great music,
Night Fury
check out
family.
easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk,
And a bunch
give
of
Am I the Genius a shot.
like
Everything linked in the description.
furies. I can't
My
tell them
annoying,
who's
lazy
three.
coworker is constantly
So
trying to
3
force me to
alphas.
do his job for him. And after dealing
4
with
if
this
you
for
count
long
the
enough, I
alpha.
decided to get some revenge by sabotaging a
Sure.
project he put in my hands, resulting in him not only taking the full blame for this project being
That's a
messed
mess.
up, but also
Is
by
there
him
alpha
being
enough?
punished with temporary leave without any kind of pay. And I've honestly never been more
Would you like
satisfied to get
fish?
back at my slacker coworker in my life. Here's what happened. So I work in an office with a guy that I will call Seth for the sake of the story. Seth is that coworker that everybody knows. He's lazy, always passing his work onto somebody else, and somehow always getting away with it. He will sit around on his phone or go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. He's the kind of guy who will show up late, make some lame excuse about traffic, and then disappear for lunch for 2 hours. For the past 6 months, Seth's favorite target has been me. He will send emails asking if I can help out with a project, but what he really means is that I need to do all the work while he takes the credit. I complained to my boss a couple of times, but somehow Seth always managed to weasel his way out of trouble. The final straw came when he passed off a major report that was due to a client in 2 days and dumped it on me at the last minute. One day, I casually asked him if he was good with Excel, and he admitted that he didn't know much about it. So I thought to myself, okay, this is perfect. So the next time Seth tried to dump a bunch of spreadsheets on me to organize for his next report, I decided to agree. But this time, I embedded a series of hidden formulas into the documents. Now, these formulas didn't do anything important, just enough to mess with the numbers if someone didn't know how to check for hidden cells. It took me a little time, but I was careful not to make it too obvious. And the kicker here is that every time Seth tried to copy and paste the data into his report, he would scramble everything just enough to make it completely useless. Well, on the day the report was due, Seth slacked off just like usual, assuming that I had handled it like always. When the client called furious because the report was filled with nonsense numbers, Seth started to panic. He then rushed to fix it, but every time he tried to fix one part of the report, something else would break. He then came to me frantic, asking for help, and I just acted confused and said, "Oh, I don't know what happened, maybe it's a glitch." I gave him some vague advice, and I watched as he spent the entire day trying to salvage his mess. Our boss eventually found out, and Seth for once couldn't talk his way out of it. He got lambasted for screwing up such an important project and was put on temporary leave without any kind of pay. So I guess it's easy to say that he'll be doing his his own work from here on out. Yes, that is some glorious revenge. I love everything about that. I can't stand coworkers who act like this because they literally make the work environment so unbelievably toxic. And it's all at everybody else's expense. Like, no one can be comfortable around this person because they're never doing their job and everyone suffers because of that. So
Why are
I
you laying
personally love
down?
this revenge because this guy
Come on.
absolutely had it coming. If you like
Get
Am I
up.
the Jerk, you're probably going to love
Dude.
Am I the Genius. Check it out, link down below
Oh,
in
now
the
you let me
description. Also, go to amIthejerk.com/submit if you would like to submit your own
Back to you,
stories.
bonus.
Would I be the jerk if I returned my parents' graduation gift to them after they gave me a Starbucks gift card, despite the fact that they know for a fact that I hate Starbucks and I'm actively protesting them? Here's what happened. I'm a 22-year-old female and I graduated from college last May, and I received a $25 Starbucks gift card from my parents as a graduation gift. Now, I'm not someone who needs a huge gift or anything like that, but this really hurt my feelings for other reasons. Firstly, though my parents don't care about this, I've been participating in the Starbucks boycott for months now, and this has been incredibly easy for me for reasons that will become very obvious. Secondly, even if I wasn't boycotting it, I still wouldn't use the gift card. I don't like coffee or tea, and I've never liked coffee or tea. And this is something that my parents know, as I repeat it often when they ask if I want anything or to try their drink. I know that Starbucks sells food, but I honestly don't even like their food offerings that much either, especially not enough to go out of my way to get them. Lastly, my dad bought a bunch of gift cards from Starbucks for his company this past winter, and this was part of some raffle thing going on. So I'm almost certain that my parents gave me this gift card not because they went out of their way to get me something, but simply because they just had it lying around. And to
Not
be
testing
completely
the wild
honest,
Nadder.
that almost hurts more because it shows that it wasn't even special and it was just convenient. It's now been over 4 months and I still haven't used the gift card, and I have no plans to do so. And this is where I might be venturing into jerk territory. They don't even know how I feel about this. They sent it to me in a card and technically don't even have confirmation that I received it. If I give it back to them, as my dad goes to Starbucks like every day, so he definitely would use it, I know that they'll ask where I got it. I see no point in lying to them, and I would just tell them that it was their graduation gift to me. As far as I can remember, and I've racked my brain about this was their only graduation gift to me, so it wasn't a part of something larger. I want to reiterate again that I don't expect a lavish gift, but it hurt my feelings seeing how little thought my parents put into something for me. A selfish part of me wants them to know that it hurt me and wants to hurt them back in some kind of way. So would I be the jerk if I gave it back to them? What should I do? No, I don't think you're the jerk at all. First of all, they know for a fact that you hate Starbucks. You don't like that place. You really have never liked it. In fact, you're even actively protesting against them. So for them to give you a gift card to the place that you don't like, that comes off as incredibly petty, or they're just not paying attention to anything about you, which might be the worst scenario, so hopefully that's not what's happening. But also, if they think that's a graduation gift, then in my opinion, that is just insulting. Sure, you're not looking for anything lavish or expensive, but you're definitely looking for more than, I don't know, a gift card that was just lying around, because it really does sound like that's exactly what your parents did. They didn't have an actual gift for you, so they're like, okay, you can have a Starbucks gift card. Like, that would really upset me if I was in your shoes. So on that end, I don't think you would be the jerk to give it back to them, or even to explain to them that yes, this did hurt your feelings, because this gift card just comes off as thoughtless, and you do not deserve that in the slightest. My toxic manager is one of the worst people to work for on planet Earth, as she is constantly putting us down and demanding that we work harder without ever lifting a finger to try and help us out. And right now, I feel like I'm at my breaking point, and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. Okay, so I really need to get it off my chest about the shift I had tonight. We had one server down. My schedule is predominantly centered around our busiest times, so often I'm really busting my butt more than not. Every server was in the weeds tonight, and honestly, it's okay, it happens. None of us are strangers to that in the slightest. However, naturally, all of us servers are voicing our distress with each other, and some even to management. Now, does anyone else have that one manager that just doesn't care about your situation? They literally have no empathy, they're not a listening ear,
we're not going back
they're
then. No,
literally
no, no,
nothing.
no,
They
no.
just scream, do more and more and more. Well, my establishment has this particular manager. She is very no-nonsense, and most of us dislike her for the simple fact that she never gives any encouragement, positive words, or praise. Anything out of her mouth is criticism. In fact, if she has to do anything other than bark orders at us, then she's on our cases even harder. Like tonight, we once again were on a wait. Now, personally, I feel like as a customer, I would rather wait longer to be sat and have a server who is caught up and able to tend to me in an appropriate amount of time, rather than be sat and wait 10 10 minutes
Alright.
before the server can approach the table. Everyone is struggling with the tables they have, and said manager is barking at all of us to clear tables so we can basically be immediately sat again and remain in the weeds. At one point, she even said, "They're out of silverware up there, so whenever y'all have the time." And when she said this, my eyes bugged out of my head. I said, does it look like any of us have the time? To me, it's an impossible standard. No one is going to stop the 50 things we are all simultaneously doing to roll silverware. There is no way that's going to happen. Not when tables are already pissed at us because, for starters, they waited to be sat, and secondly, they have to wait more at the table because we are simply too slammed. People then started complaining that food is taking too long, which makes sense as the kitchen is backed up because we don't have many cooks. Like, the whole experience for every customer is poor, all because management would rather seat back to back instead of allowing a steady flow. We are all stressed out, and this particular manager, instead of shining any light or helping out, is basically telling us to shut up and do more and more. And this is the same manager who costed us our best dishwasher, all because instead of hearing him out, she told him to shut up or clock out and leave. And you know what? He left, and he didn't come back, and I just cannot blame him. I fear more will be lost now that one of our best managers is also leaving to manage somewhere else. You know, the cool, laid-back, not strict or pushy or mean type, the one that you love to see there. Well, now we're left with a manager who wouldn't care if a table attacked you, but instead demand that you go out there and bust your tables and roll silverware. You need to help 10 tables at a time. I can't tell you how many times she has basically called us unproductive by speaking to us in a condescending tone. She'll say stuff like, "Come on people, be productive. A full tray out, a full tray in." But regardless, I'm so sick of this awful manager because her attitude is ruining this job for me. Yeah, I've had managers like this and they absolutely suck. They don't lift a finger to help out. Oh no, of course not. They're a manager. They can do whatever they want. They get to sit by the bar and watch you work while you're slammed and you have literally no time to do anything. And then have the gall to be like, "Okay guys, be more productive." Like, that stuff drives me crazy and I don't blame you for being frustrated. In my experience, it's also the same type of manager who only shows up and actually does something at their job when, like, a regional manager comes in to check on the place. And I know when I worked at a restaurant, that's exactly what my experience was. So hopefully you're able to find a different job than this because this sounds miserable. And as someone who's gone through this, I can wholeheartedly tell you that there are much better places to work than what you're currently dealing with. This next story came from the Am I the Jerk subreddit. Check the links in the description if you would like to submit your own story. Am I the jerk for expecting support from my girlfriend after I just lost my childhood cat? Here's what happened. So this morning started off with me and my girlfriend being affectionate, but then things quickly took a turn. The day before, our family cat, which we've had since I was 4 years old, had become seriously ill. And when I went out this morning, the cat could no longer move, and my mom and I understood that it was time. My girlfriend could see that the cat was in bad shape. After a while, my girlfriend went to my room while my dad woke up. Meanwhile, the cat was actively passing away and in a lot of pain. My mom, with all the love she had, wrapped the cat up gently and took it outside. I opened the door for her, and my dad came out and put the cat out of its misery. After they went outside, I went to my girlfriend with my dog, and I cried a bit in her arms. And that's when I had heard everything had finished. Now, I did not explain anything to my girlfriend right away. I just went to the bedroom and I cried more there. Eventually, I told her why I'd been crying, but she responded by saying she didn't really have any feelings about it, which made me feel like my emotions were being brushed aside. I was still grieving and struggling, so I went to look for my medication, as I do have depression, because I wasn't doing well, but I hadn't taken it yet. I told her that I needed time to process everything, and I asked if she wanted to do something together. Well, she didn't even look at me. She just said to me, "Well, as long as it's not a screen," but I remarked by saying, "You're looking at a screen." But I said it calmly, not trying to start an argument. She was sitting there, seeming indifferent, and I really felt unsupported. I told her that her remarks weren't helping, and that I was upset because the cat had just passed away. I tried to do something with her, but I felt ignored and pushed away like she didn't care. She didn't cuddle me or show any affection, and when I hit my head, all she said, without even looking away from the screen, was saying something like, "Oh, are you okay?" So, feeling hurt, I left the room and I went to watch TV, waiting for her for about 8 hours. Eventually, she came out and sat with me and my mom for about 15 minutes, all before I went back to the room, only to find that all of her things were gone. She had left. left. And now my heart is completely broken. So was I wrong to take my time and see if she would support me? My parents asked me twice to go check on her, but I told them no because I was upset that she didn't seem to care about my feelings or realize that her actions were hurting me. So am I the jerk in this situation? What should I do? No, you're definitely not the jerk. You literally just lost your cat. Your dad had to put it down, and this is an awful situation. Like, in that scenario, you would think that this would be the easiest thing for your girlfriend to support you on. Like, seriously, this is not that hard to dial into. It's obvious that you were in pain, and she should have been there for you. Now, would I have waited by the couch for, what, 8 hours for her to come out? Absolutely not. I would have said something much sooner than that. I'm not really a fan of trying to, like, test your partner or anything like that, but I think considering your emotional state and, like, all that you were going through right then and there, I can understand where you're coming from and why you did it. So no, you're definitely not the jerk, and I really think your girlfriend absolutely should have been there for you. Am I overreacting for wanting to break up with my partner, all because they refused to clean in a timely manner? Here's what happened. So me and my partner have been living together for a considerable amount of time now. Before that, I noticed that they had a problem keeping their spaces clean and organized, but I just chalked it up to possible undiagnosed ADHD and a lack of education regarding cleanliness. It's not exactly a situation where I think I can change them, but I did blindly trust their word about working on that. We have assigned chores, but I have been clear that it isn't a strict system. If one of us is unable to do their chores, the other can pick up their slack for the day. Reasons include being sick, being stressed, or just being tired. And I've picked up their slack before, even when the reason was just being forgetful, all without even telling them about it. And that's because it doesn't bother me to help them out. I made sure to assign the more daily chores to myself, just so I wouldn't overwhelm them. I have made lists, and I have let them know they present possibly as having ADHD symptoms, and I say that because I am diagnosed, and I then gave them ideas on how to work with it while they got a diagnosis. And yet, even still, if I'm unable to clean up the apartment in 1 to 3 days, it is absolute chaos. Dishes pile up and dust accumulates, there's weird smells and food crumbs everywhere, and that's all in 3 days. Now, I myself am unmedicated, and I can go through very low points. I do my best to get out of the slumps fast and make as little mess as possible to not overwhelm them, but when I do get out, or even when I'm in the middle of a very bad week, the house is a mess, and it takes almost 2 days to get it back to a decent state. At first, I thought we were both having a bad week, which is no biggie, just let them know and reset. But this has been a repeating situation every 1 to 2 months ever since we moved in together, and the conversations have escalated more and more to the point where I don't bother with being the bigger person and talking about it maturely, but instead I just let go and I berate them. I know it's wrong, but I'm so tired physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm not sure if this is a boundary or an ultimatum, but I told them once if this keeps being a regular thing, I would break up with them. I love them, but my fatigue is growing bigger than my love. The reason we haven't broken up yet is because once I talk to them, they always show remorse and immediately go running to clean everything. Though in that rush, they tend to make more of a mess in the process. Now, I haven't mentioned that because I didn't want to ruin their intentions with feedback about their cleaning, and because, quite frankly, I can't afford it. We split rent and they pay some bills. I've done the math, and I wouldn't be able to do anything other than work and go home if I had to pay all the expenses myself. If it was only cleanliness, I think I would be okay. I would be tired, but at least it's manageable. But it's just an all-around lack of consideration for me and my time, followed by kick puppy dog eyes and I'm sorries and self-deprecation every time I speak my mind. I'm not going to bring out specific situations for the sake of ambiguity, but I feel neglected in every aspect of the relationship. It's making the whole go to work, go home, and then go to work again life seem not as bad. However, since their response is always to get to work and pick up their slack, at least for a few days, I feel like I'm not being patient enough. Aside from the reasons I listed before, I acknowledge that I can be short-fused and still believe they don't want to be like this, but don't have the tools to function like I have. Hence why I'm doubting if this urge to break up is just my own lack of patience or an actual red flag. So am I overreacting in this situation for wanting to break up? What should I do?
Their way just got even better with the one and only Thierry Henry joining us as our new ambassador. Expect big moments, great rewards, and much more. 18 plus, T's and C's apply. Bet the responsible way. GambleAware.org.
Okay, first and foremost, in my opinion, if you're saying that yes, I will break up with you if you don't clean up, then in my opinion, that is already a massive red flag. Because at that point, you've said it. You've basically given the ultimatum and you've let the cat out of the bag. But the thing is, I don't blame you in the slightest. If I had to live in a pigsty every single day, all because my partner didn't want to step up and do what they need to do, then I would lose my mind and be like, wait a second, this is not worth it. And sure, I understand where you're coming from, where you're like, listen, they might have ADHD and they don't know how to cope with this stuff, but unless they've gone to a doctor and gotten that diagnosis, I would not try to excuse away their lazy behavior, because that's all this is really. It's just them being lazy. I don't see this as them having undiagnosed ADHD, because nobody knows that except for a doctor. And I really feel like self-diagnosing them and giving them that excuse to not do anything around the house, in my opinion, is a horrible mistake. Like, that is not a good idea, and I don't think you should do that. So I don't think you're completely overreacting, but I also see your hesitancy with this, because it sounds like you do care about them and you do want the best for them. And hopefully something can change in this situation, because what you described honestly does not sound like a good time. Am I overreacting by my sister's constant jokes at my expense, as she is always saying something so horrible and demeaning about me or my appearance? Because right now I feel very lost and I seriously don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So me and my sister have never had a great relationship. When we were younger, she went through a really bad depression, which made us grow apart for a really long time. I started distancing myself from her because she would often hurt my feelings with comments and jokes about my appearance or personality traits. So recently we started going to the gym together, and in order to actually make some progress, I started bulking up. And to be completely honest, I used to be incredibly skinny, so I've gained quite a lot of weight at this point, and I still wouldn't consider myself bulky, but my sister and mother haven't stopped making comments on the fact that I've been eating a lot more. And honestly, they didn't really affect me since I'm used to receiving those types of comments, but recently I've been growing insecure on the fact that maybe I've actually started to look fat, even though I'm making a lot of progress at the gym, and it's all because of those comments and the looks. As a note here, my sister quit the gym and isn't disciplined at all when it comes to good habits. When it comes to comments and stuff like this, she criticizes me a lot, which makes me really insecure on the way that I dress, talk, and express myself. Another example is the way that I like cutting my hair. I'm really into grunge music, so I try to dress to fit the style, meaning that I've cut my hair many times and I really love having a wolf cut. But whenever I change anything in my appearance, I immediately feel insecure and seen by her, and basically my family in general. We've had intense arguments, and she tells me what she really thinks about me when she is upset. She has said things like, oh, I'm just trying to excuse myself from being a jerk by saying that I'm being too sensitive. Now, I consider myself very tolerant with awful people, and I often remain silent when someone is rude to me, but for some reason, my family thinks I'm rude and often aggressive with people. But I just don't see this at all, and other people besides my family view me in a completely different way. I also think that I am indeed quite sensitive. Friends have told me that it's a big flaw in me, and to be honest, this really breaks me down. It's been this way my entire life, and the more I grow, the more I feel attacked and undermined by her, which has led me to think that she is jealous or angry at me in some twisted way. So am I overreacting by my sister's constant jokes at my expense? What should I do? No, this is not an overreaction for being upset by the way they're talking about you. And let's just get this clear, they're not jokes. They're hurtful comments that are very one-sided. If they were actually jokes, then you would find them funny. But at this point, she's just insulting you and saying horrible things about you, and then trying to pass it off like, oh, I was only kidding. But it's like, no, it doesn't matter if you're kidding or not. What you're saying hurt my feelings, and you can't keep doing that under the guise of, oh, I was just messing around. And personally, I cannot stand when people do that, because it's almost like they now have a license to offend you whenever they want. Like, that's not fair for you in the slightest, and you don't deserve that. And I think you might be right about the way she's acting, because it really does seem like she's angry or jealous of you in some kind of way. Like, her behavior is so toxic and so annoying that it's almost coming off as like obsessive or something like that. So no, you're not overreacting and you're not overly sensitive. What your sister has been saying about you is completely inappropriate.
Which one
and if I was in your
looks
shoes,
best for
I
my
absolutely would also be
nation
upset
banner?
about this. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist at the top of the description. And if you want some chill music to put on in the background, check out easymode.com. If you like Am I the Jerk, subscribe to Am I the Genius. Everything will be linked down below.